continue to go from bad to worse for Michelle Obama. Or as some of you guys prefer to call her, Miguel. Well, KC, you're forgetting about brother Greg. Ooh, he's so charismatic. He's got the charisma of a non-binary Barbie. I did not forget about brother Greg, but his contributions to this huge embarrassing failure are so minimal, it's just not worth mentioning. Hell, if I had to guess, brother Greg barely speaks because he doesn't want to be associated with this colossal failure. You know, throughout my lifetime, there have been countless get-rich-quick schemes. There have been numerous ways that people come up with to make money without having to actually work. I remember about 10 or so years ago, the newest pyramid scheme were these body wraps. This is a true story. Come home from work one day after wasting 9 or 10 hours that I'll never get back at a job that was leading me on the fast track to misery. Back then, as soon as I walked in the door, I would make a stiff concoction of Jim Beam and Coke. Heavy on the Jim Beam, light on the Coke. I grabbed my drink, prepping myself for a long night of forgetting about my job, when I hear a knock on my front door. Who in the hell is this? Who has the audacity to interrupt my happy time? It was one of those door-to-door salesmen telling me how I could quit my job and get rich quick by selling lonely women shrink wrap that would give them the illusion that they were losing weight. Take a look at this brochure. Our amazing shrink wrap hides rolls and makes Shamu look like a minnow. The scheme is always the same. They recruit you recruit others, and the people at the top make all the money. Believe it or not, this body wrap scheme, it was popular for a while, but like most get-rich-quick schemes, once the myth is realized, it all falls apart. Same thing happened to the business of mythical racism. Once the myth of racism was exposed, once people figured out that racism was being created, the business of mythical racism went bankrupt. But for a while, everyone wanted to be a part of the business. Even though YouTube and podcasting are far from being a get-rich-quick scheme, I feel like that's how some people are treating it. People start a podcast or a YouTube channel and they expect instant results. When they don't get the instant results they want, they blame everyone but themselves. I'm shadow banned. It's the algorithm, damn it! YouTube refuses to promote me. You're not shadow banned because the system is out to get you. You're shadow banned because your content sucks. Nowadays, it seems like everyone has a podcast, including former woke welfare collectors who have been banished from the mainstream media. Now, some in the media are doing very well, but most of them are struggling. Most of them are struggling to build the same audience that they had when a billion-dollar media conglomerate was behind them. Recently, Michelle Obama started a YouTube channel with brother Greg. Now, for those that don't know, Craig is Michelle Obama's actual brother. He's also a brother at Woke United Methodist who is working hard to be promoted to deacon. You would be hard-pressed to find someone who came into this industry with a bigger advantage than Michelle Obama. She is the former First Lady of the most powerful country in the world. She is adored by the mainstream media who provides her with endless free publicity. Damn near all the publicity, it's positive because it's a violation of the woke commandments to criticize Michelle Obama. Millions of followers on social media. Unlike the dump divers in the WNBA who fail to get recognized at their own family reunions, Michelle Obama would be recognized at the Trump family reunion. On the surface, launching a successful YouTube channel, it should be easy for Michelle Obama, right? The problem for Michelle Obama, she lacks the one thing that is required to be successful on this platform. She lacks the one thing that can't be taught or bought. She lacks the one thing that could be delivered by a co-host, but the problem is Greg doesn't have it either. Michelle Obama lacks charisma, and without charisma, it is damn near impossible for you to make things interesting. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. This morning on the second channel, talked about the mainstream media disguising the truth with Unrivaled in their ratings. For reasons unknown, the media continues to polish this turd. I give you the real ratings for Unrivaled this season and explain why this secondary dump is on life support. So if you haven't already, head over to the second channel and subscribe. It's not hard to figure out why Michelle Obama started this YouTube channel. This is pure speculation on my part, but I think Michelle Obama was paid millions of dollars to do this because Democrats needed someone in this space with a voice. The Democrats actually believe that the reason cackling Cam Harris lost to the Trumper is because conservatives are dominating podcasting and YouTube. Now, was that one of the reasons that the leader of the cackling choir lost? Sure, but the main reason she lost is because America rejected the woke fungus. If the mainstream media was doing its job, guys like me wouldn't have a platform. But here we are 5 months after the woke fungus was eradicated, and the media is still full of shit. So I believe they are using Michelle Obama. I believe they are paying her millions of dollars, hoping she will be able to build a platform to combat conservative voices. But here's the thing about money. Money can buy a lot of things, but there's a couple of things money can't buy. It can't buy charisma, and it can't buy influence. And by influence, I mean trust, respect with normal people. You're born with charisma. You either have it or you don't. Trust, respect, those are two things that have to be earned. There is no amount of money that can buy it. You know what else money can't buy? Effort, motivation. And it is abundantly clear to me, Michelle Obama is not putting much effort into her YouTube channel. She's there to cash a check. Let me give you an example. Recently, Michelle and brother Greg, they were discussing the weather because, deacons at Woke United Methodist, they love obsessing over the weather. Believe it or not, there are ways to make conversations about the weather somewhat interesting. For example, when I'm bitching about the heat during the summer, I might blame the heat on the flow of boodle breeze coming from the whoopee cushion on the view. Because according to the deacons, powerful flatulence is responsible for heat waves. Check out this conversation between Michelle and the aspiring deacon as they talk about the weather. Now, try not to fall asleep as you attempt to watch this for yourself.
You know how in Chicago, if it's been 0 degrees, 40 people are like going to the beach. It's like 40 degrees and people are like, it's hot out here. So I feel like I've lost my cold weather edge.
Yeah, people who live in the Midwest don't know D.C. is warm most of the time.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why we like it there.
I get it.
I mean, you get pretty good weather. You get all seasons, but the summers are hot and swampy. So it's good to be in L.A. and it's good to be with you.
It's so fun to be with you. I'm just having a ball doing these.
How boring can you be? Who is responsible for producing this garbage? Who did they hire to come up with these topics? Like I said, there are ways to make just about anything interesting, but you gotta have personalities who are talented enough to make it compelling. And brother Greg ain't even close. Earlier this week, Michelle Obama had Seth Rogen on to boost viewership. I guess she thought it was 2010, which was the last time that Seth Rogen was relevant. But there are still ways that you can make this interview interesting with a little effort. For example, You could ask Seth Rogen if he watches the WNBA. I would assume his favorite player is Bob Griner. You could get him to open up about their bong sessions. You could ask how Bob Griner splits the swisher when she doesn't have fingernails. Does she have to use a knife, or does she use the little blade on the fingernail clippers? At pool parties, is Bob in a bikini or a tuck-friendly bathing suit? If you didn't want to discuss Bob, you could ask Seth Rogen if he regrets supporting the organization Black Lives Matter. After hundreds of millions of dollars were donated to the organization, it was later discovered that BLM was misusing those funds. The founders were living in multi-million-dollar mansions with money that was supposed to be used to help the black community. How does Seth Rogen feel about that? Does he feel duped? Does he regret not listening to people who were warning that this was going to happen? But instead of talking about that, Michelle Obama spent the better part of an hour talking to Seth Rogen about Alzheimer's. You know, Alzheimer's runs in my family. It is especially prevalent on my mother's side of the family. I'm someone who has an interest in the disease, but even I think it's boring to talk about, especially for over an hour. Apparently, I'm not the only one. 8 hours after the interview was uploaded, the video had 3,400 views. As of this morning, it was sitting around 32,000, with most of those viewers coming after the initial failure to let Michelle Obama know that her podcast is a failure. That's not speculation. I found that information in her own comment section. Her latest video that was posted this morning, it's an hour-long conversation with someone named Lori Santos, who appears to be a doctor at Woke Memorial Hospital. 4 hours after being uploaded, this captivating interview has 1,400 views. Look, conversations about Alzheimer's, very important. Caring for the elderly, caring for our parents as they get older, that is important. But it's also important to find ways to make those conversations interesting, entertaining. Otherwise, no one gets the message. This is not some political rally. This isn't some conference where people are forced to listen to you. Here on YouTube, every second counts. You have to strive to be interesting every second of the video. If you're not, people realize that you're wasting their time and they find someone who won't. I have never used a theme song. I have never created some generic opening for my videos. Why? Well, for starters, the first 30 seconds of the video are the most important, but it's mainly because I don't want to waste your time. Why am I wasting time playing the same opening when I could just be talking shit? I just don't see this working long-term for Michelle Obama. Maybe she finds a rhythm. Maybe she finds something that works for her and resonates with others. But Michelle Obama, she has never been charismatic. She has never been compelling. And she's one of the faces of a movement, the Democratic Party, that has lost all trust, all respect with normal people. Give me your thoughts on this. Michelle Obama continues to struggle. Why? Is it lack of effort, lack of charisma, lack of giving a damn? Or is Michelle Obama just too boring? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Best way to contact me is through email, btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys later.